Thank you, Mr. Polo. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Conference 2.3 on building trust and credibility through authentic digital branding for startups. We are delighted to have you all join us once again as we continue our exploration of this fascinating topic.
Indeed, it's wonderful to see familiar faces and new participants joining us today. We hope you had a restful day and are ready to dive into another session filled with valuable insights and discussions.
Yes, absolutely, Anjali. Today, again, we have an exceptional lineup of speakers who bring a wealth of knowledge and practical insights to the table. Their expertise will shed light on the legal challenges and opportunities faced by startups in today's dynamic business landscape in respect to digital marketing. So, without further delay, let's introduce our esteemed speakers for today's session.
The first speaker of the day is Ms. Arpita Kushwaha, founder and chief marketing officer of Grihani Kala Private Limited. With a passion for empowering Grihanis in India, Ms. Arpita's company provides them with a second chance to pursue their dreams and earn a living by following their passions. Ms. Arpita's and her dedicated team work tirelessly to explore new ideas and execute them, creating employment opportunities for Grihanis across the country.
Our next speaker is Dr. Gaurav Gupta, a distinguished marketing expert with a strong academic background and extensive research experience. Dr. Gupta holds a doctorate in marketing and has studied at renowned institutions such as Wilkes University, USA, and IIM Kozhikode. His research papers have been presented at esteemed institutions such as IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Indore, and IIM Bangalore, and published in reputable journals. Currently affiliated with MT University Noida, Dr. Gupta specializes in brand management, marketing research, methodology and management, and case writing. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Gaurav Gupta, whose profound expertise and contribution in the field of marketing are highly respected.
We're also honored to have Mr. Kalinda Vichamage, a dynamic executive with 18 years of experience in banking, hospitality, and IT. Having held various managerial roles, Mr. Kalinda's expertise extends to functions such as sales, marketing, international relations, and corporate communications. With an MBA specializing in international marketing from University of Bedfordshire, he possesses a deep understanding of global markets and consumer behavior. His strategic thinking, leadership skills, and ability to drive results make him an invaluable speaker for our conference.
Next, joining us is Mr. Jose Wundu, a passionate lawyer with a strong desire to see young people reach their potential in business investments by utilizing his talents. With over a decade of experience as a lawyer and as a team leader of an international organization, Joseph currently serves as the director of the African chapter of AGID. AGID empowers people in the United States and across Africa through self discovery and network building. Mr. Joseph's expertise and dedication to empowering individuals make him an inspiring speaker for our conference today.
We're also delighted to welcome Mr. Sumit Mararia, an accomplished senior UX designer specializing in user-centered designs for web and mobile platforms. With proficiency in research, wireframing, prototyping, and UI design, Mr. Sumit has a track record of delivering successful projects and fostering innovation. His leadership and collaboration abilities make him a valuable addition to our lineup of speakers.
Lastly, we have Ms. Nidhi Rajput, a digital content marketing and strategy expert with over 14 years of experience. Nidhi's focus on the international travel industry has allowed her to work with a diverse range of organizations, from multinational corporations to startups. Her expertise lies in delivering comprehensive content assistance to enhance search rankings, increase brand visibility, and maximize ROI. As the driving force behind the content division at Z1 Media, Ms. Nidhi's strategic approach and dedication to providing a positive customer experience make her a valuable speaker at our conference.
We're grateful for the presence and eagerly anticipate their valuable insights and contributions for today's conference. We'd also like to inform all of you that the HR team is conducting polls in the chat box throughout the session. We encourage active participation from all attendees. Once again, thank you all for joining us today. Let's welcome our first speaker of the day, Ms. Arpita. I would request her to please commence her speech.
Thank you for your warm welcome. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Uh, First of all, I am very honored to be here. Let me share my PPT first. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Uh, Hello everyone. My name is Arpita Kuchwaha, the founder and CMO of Greeny Kala Private Limited. And सबसे पहले मैं आप लोगों को ये बताना चाहूँगी कि जब मैंने अपना स्टार्टअप शुरू किया था तब मैं ये सोचती थी कि 99% ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स जो हैं वो फेल क्यों हो जाते हैं और 1% स्टार्टअप जो है वही मार्केट में सर्वाइव क्यों कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि तब तक हम इस प्रोसेस से गुजरे नहीं थे। लेकिन लास्ट फ्यू मंथ से जब हम अपने स्टार्टअप के प्रोसेस के थ्रू गुजरे तो हमें पता चला कि जो सबसे ज़रूरी है स्टार्टअप में ध्यान देना वो है 4 P's ऑफ स्टार्टअप: प्रोडक्ट, प्राइस, प्रमोशन, प्लेस। जो आज का हमारा क्या कहते हैं टॉपिक है वो है बिल्डिंग ट्रस्ट एंड क्रेडिबिलिटी थ्रू द ऑथेंटिक ऑथेंटिक सॉरी प्लेस। प्लेस हमारे प्रोडक्ट के लिए, उसकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए भी सुइटेबल होना चाहिए और उससे भी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि हम उसे कहाँ पे आगे सेल कर रहे हैं। शुरुआत हमेशा हमें स्मॉल प्लेसेस से करनी चाहिए क्योंकि वहाँ पे हमें अपने टारगेट को टारगेट करना बहुत आसान होता है। और अगर हम बात करें क्या कहते हैं टैग लाइन्स की, तो सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होता है प्रमोशन में टैग लाइन। एक टैग लाइन जो है वो हमारे ब्रांड के प्रमोशन में काफ़ी हेल्प करता है। जैसे कि मैं आपको एग्जांपल देना चाहूँगी थम्स अप का। जैसे थम्स अप में होता है कि थम्स अप द टेस्ट ऑफ थंडर, तो उसका ब्रांडिंग करना उनके लिए बहुत आसान इसलिए हो गया क्योंकि उन्होंने उसको एज अ राइम, एज अ टैग प्रेजेंट किया। और इसी तरह अगर हम बात करें अमूल दूध की, अमूल मिल्क इंडिया में बहुत फेमस है, बहुत काफ़ी मतलब बहुत पुराना है, काफ़ी टाइम से चलता आ रहा है। उन्होंने इसकी ब्रांडिंग पैट्रियोटिकल वे में किया कि अमूल द टेस्ट ऑफ इंडिया। और इसी के साथ मैं ये बताना चाहूँगी कि हमारा भी जो कंपनी है वो भी छोटी छोटी चीज़ों पे ध्यान देके वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट की ओर बढ़ रहा है। और इसी के साथ मैं कहना चाहूँगी कि थैंक यू फॉर लिसनिंग मी सो पेशेंटली and very thank you for SK Associates and groups for inviting me here. Thank you all. Thank you very much. If you guys have any question, you can ask me.
Sure. Firstly, Arpita, you have done an amazing work for housewives in India by providing
Huh.
them with employment opportunity and other opportunities as well.
Yes, thank
So
you.
tell us something about your story. Like, how did you discover that housewives exactly could do well of it, this situation that you are currently providing?
Pardon, can you repeat it?
Uh, I was asking, how did you come across this idea that housewives potentially do better with the solutions you are currently providing them?
Um, Actually, this idea came in mind when I was sitting with my सिस्टर इन लॉ एंड माई मदर। हम साथ में बैठे हुए थे और मैं एक कॉलेज स्टूडेंट भी हूँ, तो हम उनके साथ बैठ के यही डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि अगर हाउस वाइफ जो काम करती हैं, जो उनका रेगुलर वर्क है और कोई वर्क करने के बजाय नहीं, मतलब कि उनको स्किल्स की जरूरत ऐसे नहीं है कि कोई स्किल्स जाके सीखना पड़े तब उनको उनके हिसाब से काम करें, जो वो रेगुलर बेसिस पे वर्क कर रही हैं, अगर उनसे रिलेटेड उनको काम मिलना शुरू हो तो कितना अच्छा होगा। देन दिस आइडिया केम इन माई माइंड एंड मैं गई और भी हाउस वाइफ से मिली। पहले मैं अपने सराउंडिंग के हाउस वाइफ से मिली, फिर मैं कुछ विलेजेस में गई, उनसे मिली, तो मुझे पता चला कि यहाँ पे वेराइटी ऑफ स्किल्स इनके पास प्रेजेंट हैं। किसी को मतलब कि बहुत सारे जो हम यूपी से बिलोंग करते हैं, तो यूपी में बहुत ही छोटे छोटे विलेज हैं जहाँ पे हनी का प्रोडक्शन होता है। वो हाउस वाइफ्स अपने घर में ही हनी का प्रोडक्शन करती हैं और क्या कहते हैं, मतलब वो चिप्स पापड्स बनाती हैं, अचार बनाती हैं। वो बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियों से अभी नहीं जुड़ पाई हैं क्योंकि यूपी को अगर ध्यान में दिया जाए तो जो टायर सिटीज़ है वो तो काफ़ी आगे हैं यूपी की, लेकिन जो विलेजेस हैं वो अभी भी काफ़ी पीछे हैं। तो ये सबको ध्यान में रखते हुए मेरे मन में आया कि और सब जगह काम करने से बेहतर है कि अगर मैं हाउस वाइफ पे ध्यान दूँ, वो भी अपने ही एरिया के, तो बेहतर रहेगा। और उन्हें कोई अदर स्किल्स सीखने की जरूरत नहीं है, जो स्किल्स उनके पास है उनसे रिलेटेड ही हम उन्हें काम प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं।
आइडिया तो आपका काफी अच्छा है वैसे, बट आई थिंक वी हैव अ क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम मिस्टर प्रशांत सिंह। प्रशांत जी, if you can just speak.
अर्पिता मैडम, अगर आपसे कोई पूछे कि 3 पॉइंट ऐसा क्या है जिससे हम लोग अपने को डिजिटली ऑथेंटिक सबके सामने दिखा सकें, वो 3 पॉइंट क्या आप बताएंगे?
अगर मैं अपने ब्रांड की बात करूं या अपने काम से बात करूं, तो सबसे पहले जैसे मैं गृहिणीज के लिए काम कर रही हूं, तो मैं अपना ब्रांड एम्बेसडर उन्हें रखना मतलब कि सही समझूंगी। मैं उनके थ्रू मार्केटिंग कराऊंगी, उनको अपना ब्रांड एम्बेसडर बनाऊंगी। वो डिजिटली आजकल मतलब कि लोग उससे काफ़ी इंस्पायर होते हैं जब कोई वुमेन सामने से आती है, आगे बढ़ती है। और अगर कोई विलेज की या फिर क्या कहते हैं कोई हाउसवाइफ आगे बढ़ के उस चीज़ का प्रमोशन करेगी, तो वो काफ़ी इम्पैक्टफुल होगा। और सेकंड वन अगर हम बात करें, तो लोग आजकल ऑर्गेनिक चीज़ें, ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स पे बहुत ध्यान देते हैं। तो हमें ये ध्यान देना रहता है कि हम जो भी प्रोडक्ट तैयार कर रहे हैं वो प्योर हो, और वो प्योर होने के साथ साथ हम उसे रिप्रेजेंट करें कि वो प्योर हो। सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी यही है कि हम उसको मार्केट में दिखा सकें कि इसमें कितनी प्योरिटी प्रेजेंट है और उसके क्या बेनिफिट्स हैं। और रही बात, तो आजकल मार्केट में इन्फ्लुएंसर्स काफ़ी सारे हैं, और सबसे ज़्यादा तो इंस्टाग्राम और क्या कहते हैं, अब तो ये भी है कि मार्केट में थ्रेड आ चुका है, तो थ्रेड के थ्रू भी लोग जो पोस्ट यहाँ करते हैं वो भी वहाँ पहुँचा देते हैं। तो हम इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का सहारा ले सकते हैं अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को डिजिटली ब्रांड करने का।
थैंक यू मैम।
थैंक यू।
Anyone else? Any questions you want to ask Ms. Kushwaha? Any questions of you? None? Okay, fine. Uh, Thank you, Ms. Arpita, for the wonderful speech. Actually, your idea is very innovative and it's more towards community impact and growth. So, great. Excellent work. Do please share your email address in the chat box so that if any of our attendees have further questions or need clarification, they can reach out to you on your email.
Okay.
Now, I would
Sure.
like to request and invite Dr. Gaurav Gupta to commence his speech.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for the invitation. I would like to pay regards to the SK Associates and Group and himself, founder and CEO, Mr. P. Shravan Kumar, for inviting me. And it's a privilege that I'm sharing a dice with such a learned people. So I would like to thank Ms. Arpita as well, because she has given a lot many insights of the startups. So it's a very good idea that in such a young age, being a student and you are doing a startup, so it's need a courage. So thanks a lot. I'm what I'm going to present today is a kind of a similar nature. Like I am an academician, so I generally motivate my students to start their startup. And one of the startup is Profit Penny that one of my student, Mr. Kanaya, has started. And I am collaborating with them, not from the commercial point of view, but as a mentor. So, in the digital marketing stream, today I am just going to present the 3 brief cases, the live case studies, where the Profit Penny has served them as a client, and what they were doing before they came to the company, and then the digital marketing happened, and how their sales have grown up. So 3 small cases I would like to present in front of you. Just uh, give me a second. If someone can confirm if my presentation is visible.
It's not visible yet.
It's not visible even now.
No.
Just give me a minute. It's not visible even now.
No, it's not.
I guess Dr. Gupta can just proceed with the simple speech. Yeah, it's visible. Just I hope it's visible, engineer.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So the first case of these all are the names you might not have heard of, because these are not a very great brands as such, but they are growing and they are the startups. So the first client is Bank Genie. This we served in a B2B marketing. It's a client of Singapore basically. So what this client is basically, Bank Genie has a product. They are the
Sorry
yeah.
to interrupt, Mr. Gaurav. I guess the PPT is not visible yet. It was loading before and then went back again.
Okay, should I share the window or what?
You can share the entire screen.
Entire screen, na? So I'm doing
Yes.
that only.
Yes, it's visible now.
Thank God. Uh, so I just repeat it again quickly. So the first client that we served was Bank Genie. The Bank Genie is a client based in the Singapore, and they have their own clientage in Singapore, Philippines, and South Africa. What they do is they are the software aggregator. Software aggregator means they make the software for the banking system, right? And their problem was they came up with the problem that they want to create a brand awareness for their brand, right? So that was their specific problem. Their brand is not visible. Their clients are basically banks. Like I said, they are into the B2B marketing, not into the B2C. So they wanted to target the banks because they want to sell their softwares to the banks of Philippines, South Africa, and Singapore. So that was their idea. Now, uh, what we did uh, in the part of this company as a digital marketer, uh, we took the same strategy that Arpita was talking about, that if she has to do a digital marketing, she will take the brand ambassador of the common man or something. So the same kind of strategy was very effective, that despite of taking these celebrities or something, the common face was taken, number one. So if you see on the screen, the common man pictures were taken and posters were made. Number two, the Philippines, when because we had to make the three advertisements for the different markets, for the Philippines, for the South Africa, and for the Singapore. So when if we talk about the Philippines, basically, so we didn't go with the English, right? We mix their language, the Philippines language, and English. Like in India, if we make an ad, sometimes in Hindi and English mix English. So to connect with the customer, it was very important that you should need a common face, you need a common language, so that the brand awareness can be generated, right? uh, and in the second, it's a south if you see the first ad, it's a South African ad. And second, in the second poster, it's written that on the retail store, the Bank Genie poster has been pasted out. It's a digital ad, right? So basically we wanted to connect with the customer. If some banks use this product, then it is so user friendly that their all day hustles will go away, right? If the customers will use this software. So what happened was, if people, the common man used to, if you see the first ad, it talks about that you can deposit a check through a phone, right? Or you can do a various transaction and all that. So people start demanding from the banks, okay, what is this Bank Genie, we also need this product. Then bank came again to the Bank Genie, okay, people are talking about you, who are you, and tell us what you can do, right? So then the banks become the client of Bank Genie. So the idea was, to cut the story short, if if I go about the learning, like in the customer experience, that we should be making in the digital world the experience that the customer should be relatable to the customer, so that there should be a relationship building happen over there, right? If you do not make a relationship with the customer, your product cannot sell, right? So it's very important learning that we got from this handling this case, and that I'm sharing today. Quickly, the second very beautiful case of Daiso. Daiso is the India's biggest seller on Amazon for computer, mobile, and car accessories. Accessories, they sell the accessories. Now, what they do, their business model is they bring the material from China and they used to sell as it is on Amazon. Now, they came up with the problem to our my students' agency, that uh, their sales are not increasing, right? Then we analyzed, we sat together and see what is the problem. So the problem was that there were at least 10 to 12 sellers, those who were doing the same thing on the Amazon. Like there were the Chinese catalogs, Chinese not in the Chinese language, but authentic, like copyrighted catalogs, and they were trying to sell through the Amazon. Now what happens was, if customer is getting the same kind of product, like for example, I'm talking about accessories, there is a mobile stand of the car, right? If I search on Amazon, I am getting the same kind of feel from 10 different sellers, right? I will buy the cheapest. Either I will buy the cheapest, or I will not buy anyone, right? Or I will go to the any non brand or something. If as a customer I want to buy something from an unknown brand, so there should be some value proposition should be visible on the in front of me, right? So what we did, this is the before and after pictures. Like this, if you see the before pictures, these were the simple the camera bag or something, that gives us some kind of specification, right? But if you see the after, we have changed the logo, we have changed the design a better, we gave the better look. We if you see the third picture in the after, we try to showcase ki how your camera can be put in, right? So in the earlier pictures, it was never been depicted. So in the idea is ki the customer should get a proper knowledge about ki what product they are buying. The another example of the same company, if you see these pictures have been made by the agency, that it gives a proper idea ki what kind of product is going to be when they purchase it. But if you talk about the Chinese picture that we used to get, those were the simple illustrations. Like people were not getting a good feel with the pictures and all that. So we improved the graphics, we improved the description, we enhanced the product description, right? And the result is there 130% sales from time period 1 to time period 2 in the, and that time period is 3 months, that has increased because of these change in the graphics, change in the product description, change in the picture feel, etc., etc., right? So earlier it was just a one another brand. Now it has become a known brand on the Amazon, right? And if you see what were the results, as a result, their product now have the minimum rating of 500 plus, 4.5 stars, and their conversion rates have gone significantly up, leading to the reduced cost per sale and increased profits. So their cost has gone down because of the obvious reasons, right? And it's in the Amazon choice list and all that, all those we all know on the Amazon, right? So to cut the story short, from a ordinary product description, we have gone to the good product descriptions, elaborative product description. We have changed the design, we have changed the logo, and gave the aesthetic feel to the products, right? The learning that I have already shared with you all. The third is the, I thought to share with you all one failure story also. How the brands fail and why the brands fail. There was a client, those were selling the homemade pickles, jams, oil, and snacks. Their product was very good, right? And they wanted to target the upper middle class, premium customer, and all that. We had many meetings. Okay, you have to cut down the price because your direct competitor is Dabur and Patanjali and other FMCG companies. But they didn't reduce the price, and gradually they had to shut down their business. If you see, the brand is no more, they shut down in 6 months. Now, then we analyzed, okay, why they shut down. The price was the one of the main reason, because if you want to do a premium pricing, you have to establish yourself. If you do a premium pricing, some customer may try your product, but it's very difficult to make a scale when you are new, and when you are selling online. It is almost impossible to charge a premium price when you are new in the market. Very difficult. There are many brands, those who were new and charged a premium price, but their marketing spend was humongous, right? And they might sometimes they hire the celebrities and all that, and there are other tactics. The only idea is ki, if you are new, you want to charge premium, then you have to spend a lot on the marketing in a very different way, right? So this brand failed. uh, what are the lessons that we have got? That focus on customer rather than the directors. Build for your customers, show that you know what they want, because customers are the king, right? Then value propositions, don't focus on selling your product on the basis of price. So price will kill you. If you will play on the brand, on the relationship, then only you will grow, right? So these are the few practical or total 100% authentic information, or the lessons that we have got from our own experience, that how digitally the brands can excel. So just to sum up, uh, out of these three case studies, that first is connect with the customer, use the normal common man face rather than a big celebrity face to connect with the customer in today's world. Number two lesson, that your product description, your graphics should be appealing and it should be good, and a customer should get all the information, otherwise they will feel skeptical if you are new. The third, if you want to charge a premium price, cannot be a game to win in digital marketing. Either you have to be competitive pricing. If you want to charge premium, you have to push a lot. So these were the three learnings. Thank you very much. I would like to have some questions and would like to answer them. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Gaurav, for your wonderful speech and the valuable insights you've shared with us today with the help of case studies. It was very helpful. Do we have any questions for Dr. Gaurav? Anybody, please raise your hands or type it in the chat box. Do we have
Yeah,
any
Dr.
questions?
Gaurav. By the way, I had a question for you. As you elaborated that the case studies you presented were done based on a bank out in a foreign country. So we have multiple entrepreneurs in this meeting who do wish to begin their startups in the market research domain, in which obviously you are expert. So what would you advise them in turn, like with respect to taking such research projects? How could you think? How do you think they could pitch such high-profile clients and get them on the profile portfolio of the startup?
Okay, so the first is, if you want to pitch any high profile client, so if and their startup, right? And so I would not suggest ki in a very first go pitch a high profile client, because you do not know. One is keep pitching, okay, you might get, but we have to take a baby step in the beginning. Serve the small client that we did, and try to understand the market itself, ki what market demands, and what are the price game is going on. So let's say market research. Let's say in the market research, you want to survey 100 customers. First, they have to understand what is the price point of surveying 100 customers, analyzing those customers, and all that. Once you get an idea, then you can pitch the client, okay, we can do this, and that, because you know the loopholes, and then you can charge the money. I just give you one example. Like, uh, the client came and they said, okay, there is a pink laptop bag. They do not want to sell that. They want to sell the black and white. Please make a poster for us. It was a very simple job. Go to the Adobe Photoshop and make it a black and white. But digital marketer, it's a loop, not the loophole, but a easy process that you get in with an experience. Okay, just go to Adobe Photoshop, click on black and white, and your game is done. But this kind of things comes when you play in the market. So don't pitch the high profile. Start with low profile clients. Once you get your portfolio, then pitch the higher. Otherwise, you will not. The clients will not get convert in your kitty.
That's a great advice, Ramno. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Any questions here? I guess you can continue.
Thank you again, Dr. Gaurav. Please share email address in the chat box. If anyone in our audience has any questions or needs further information, please don't hesitate to reach out to him. Now, I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Kalinda, to commence his speech.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me today. So, as your guest speaker today, I feel incredibly honored to be here and eager to discuss important subject of building trust, credibility through authentic digital branding for startups. Startups face the challenge of establishing themselves as a reliable, credible entity in this fast-paced, competitive digital landscape. To give you the tools you need and to establish strong online presence, connect with your target audience, ultimately establishing credibility and trust. I will walk you through some practices, tactics, authentic digital branding today. Authenticity has emerged as the key component of any successful digital brand in the current digital age where our lives are interlinked with technology. Being genuine help you stand out from the crowd and forges an emotional bond with your audience. Startups must reflect on their values, mission, and distinctive identity in their digital branding. Your target market should be able to recognize your values and authenticity, that is the core of your startup. Building trust and credibility through digital branding requires consistent, which is a crucial component. Whether it be through your website, social media platforms, customer service, even interact your startups has this audience should convey a consistent message throughout. There should be no room for misunderstanding or doubt by maintaining a consistent brand voice tone through all channels. By remaining consistent, you will create closeness and establish your startup as a dependable, reputable presence in the online world, which is very crucial. Another important element is developing credibility in transparency. Transparency fosters a trust at a time where customers seek genuine connections. Share the background information, core principles, a story for your startup. By sharing your journey with them, you can engage your audience. People are more likely to trust your startup when they can relate to you on a personal level. By knowing that they are dealing with actual people who genuinely care about their needs, your audience will feel more connected with you and also transparent about your process, success, and even failures. Your startup needs to deliver value consistently, even if it wants to gain credibility and trust. Offer your audience top notch content that informs, amuse, and addresses their issues. You establish your startup as a trustworthy authority by providing insightful advice, the subject as a subject matter knowledgeable. By consistently providing value through your content, you will establish this credibility as a startup in the go-to source in the sector. In the modern digital environment, social proof is crucial. for building credibility and trust. Consumers heavily rely on reviews, recommendation, and social media interaction to demonstrate the brand's integrity and dependability. Encourage your please customers to provide both online and offline experience and feedback. Utilize user generated content to show how actual customers are helped by your goods and services. Potential customers are reassured that your startup is reliable, credible by the social proof, which functions as a strong endorsement as well. Finally, effective participation in communications are essential for establishing credibility and trust. The process of digital branding is two-way. Encourage customers' feedback, pay attention to what they have to say, and answer their questions or concerns right away. Engage in online discussions pertaining to your industry by interacting with your audience. Show that you care about what they need and establish enduring bond based on credibility and trust. In conclusion, developing trust and credibility through authentic digital branding is a continuous process that calls for reliability, openness, that provides value, social proof, and active participation. Startups can establish themselves as a dependable and reputable entity in the digital sphere by adhering to those principles. Your startup digital brand serves as a public face in the online space. So, by establishing credibility and trust, you will pave the way for long term success. Thank you so much. That's it from my end. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Yeah. Anyone? Any questions for Mr. Kalenda? You may just unmute yourself and speak. No questions out here? Okay, you may just type in the chat box if you're an introvert. No issues with that at all. Yeah. I guess your speech was quite clear, Mr. Kalenda. By the way, I had a question for you too. Since you said that
Yeah.
like this brand recognition is quite important for brands, how would you justify that for startups? Because startups have very limited funds, and with those limited funds, they obviously cannot invest much on their branding. So how would you suggest them to increase their brand value?
So brand awareness, actually investing on brand awareness as a startup using digital space, you can do many things. It's all about, first of all, understanding what is your brand and then what is your brand stands for. So once you have that understanding on what it needs to address, so whenever you, initially we were having a discussion, so one of the speakers also said, like, you won't randomly go and buy something which you don't know. Some person would continuously buy an Apple product just because you know the brand, whereas that it might not serve what is needed. So basically, establishing that brand in order for you to invest in recognizing the brand, it all depends on how you will use your digital space to do that. As a startup, I would always say, if you are coming up with a startup idea, and then if you have a particular brand that you need or particular product that you need to market, and then if you understand the consumer's need, so address that consumer need by converting that as a story to represent the brand name as well. So if you establish that, that will be easy for you to relate to the client, and then also it doesn't necessarily have to be you you don't necessarily have to invest a lot in terms of building that brand as well, in terms of the cash, in terms of financials.
That's a great point to be noted. No more queries from the audience? If that's it, then fine. Thank you, Mr. Kalanda, for the amazing speech and the tips that you just shared with us. Obviously, they will be quite useful for the entrepreneurs who are attending this conference. Do please share your email address in the
Thank you
chat
so much.
box. Anyone from the audience would like to connect with Mr. Kalanda or has any questions, do feel free to reach out to him through his email address. And now, proceeding further, I would like to request Mr. Jose to commence his speech and share his valuable insights with us.
Thank you so much. And thank you, SK Associates and Group, for having me. It's a pleasure. I like speaking to people that want to start up things. I think it's encouraging. I think it's a bold step when someone decides to start out. The easier route is to go for employment. That's the easier route. But for someone to decide to step out and start something, that's boldness and that's courage. And I just like to speak to people that are stepping out like that. And definitely, as we speak right now, there are thousands of people that are starting out. But sadly, not everyone will make it. A few people are able to persevere and make it even to the end. And of course, one of the big reasons, one of the big things that is helpful is marketing and branding. That's what helps certain people to be able to keep going and growing while others are not. And so it's important to pay attention to branding and marketing. And so that's why I appreciate this lecture and what you have put together to help people pay attention to this particular aspect that is important for them to be able to survive over the long haul. We're talking about, building trust and credibility through authentic digital branding for startups. And I think while we are quick to start talking about how to brand the product, I think it's important to realize it is one of the important things as well is branding yourself. People are not only buying the product, people are watching the owner of the product. People do not know only Tesla, but people also know the person who owns Tesla. And so sometimes we think the product is different from the individual, and we miss a point there. I think it is important to know that the first place to start is by branding yourself. What is your digital presence like? What does that look like online on different social media that you want to advertise your product? What does your digital presence look like as an individual? Because there are many people that have good products, but because of their reputation, people do not buy from them. Because of the way they present themselves, people don't even want to associate with their products at all, even when they are good products. And so your digital presence is a good place to start from. How do you present yourself in the digital space? And so while we're talking about branding, I think the first place to start is branding yourself. How do you portray yourself in the digital space? That people can look at you and want to connect with you even before they connect with your product. Once people can connect with you, it will be easy for them to connect with your product. And so if you start from the product, you're missing a very key place, which is yourself. And so the number one branding should be yourself. Package yourself very well that people can relate with you, people can connect with you, and then people will definitely relate with your product and connect with your product. And so that's why I thought we should start from examine yourself on the digital space. If you do not have a digital presence, it's going to be hard for you to market your product. And so begin to have a digital presence, and then you can market your product. Don't just come out of the blue and start marketing the product. Have a digital presence yourself, and then start to market your product. So have a digital presence, make sure it aligns with the product that you are marketing and that people can relate with you, and then they can relate with your product. The second thing is, before you brand your product, brand your values. I think 3 people have so far talked about values, and that should show you that it is actually an important thing. It's not only the product, it's value as well. Your values, who you are, what things you stand for. Sometimes we're so quick to sell a product that we sacrifice the values, and people will tell. But if you have a track record of what your values are, you are consistent with your values, people begin to develop a sense of trust in you. And we're talking about developing trust for your brand. People begin to know they can trust you because they know your values. You are consistent with your values. They have seen you over time sticking to your values. People begin to develop a sense of trust in you, and therefore a sense of trust in your product. And so be very clear on what your values are and uphold your values. Don't sacrifice them for a quick sale. Quick sales usually end up backfiring. But if you are in the market for a long run, then begin to establish your values. It's people that are just in the market for a quick buck here and there that don't care about values, and they don't last for long. But if you are going to be here for a long time, begin to establish your values. Let people know what you stand for. Let people see the consistency, and you'll begin to build trust that 10 years from now, 30 years from now, your product will still be on the market because people trust you. They trust your products. They've seen how your values are consistent. And so please brand your values. Pay attention to your values because they develop a sense of trust in you. When we talk about company, I think sometimes we can choose to decide to give that over to the influencers, to allow the influencers to do that for us. And the influencers do a good job in that regard. But please remember, this company is your baby. You cannot just sit back and let others do the work for you. It is your product. It is your organization. Pay attention. Be involved in marketing it. Be involved in your branding. Don't only leave that to the influencers. The influencers will charge you money. You can do this by yourself. As a startup, you do not have enough funds. Earlier on, the question was asked about, branding without resources. In the digital world, you don't need to have money. You have a laptop, you have internet. Brand for yourself. Create a presence. Be involved in certain discussions. Look for discussions that align with what you are doing and be involved in these discussions. Get conversations going. Begin to write stories and let people begin to comment. Don't wait for the market. Go where the market is. Begin to drive attraction towards yourself. Let people begin to notice you. Let people begin to notice you. Be active on blogs. Be active in discussions. Be active. Look for places where you can be active. It might take a while, but people will begin to notice you. They'll begin to notice you. And when they notice you, they will go to your page and then they will see your product and then they will take interest. But if you sit back and wait, no one will come to you. No one will come to you. I'm sure the reason why the team came to me and asked me to speak is because they have seen me writing quite often on a couple of things. And even though they saw me writing and then they came to my page and then they saw what I have to offer and then they asked me to speak. And so that's a good way of getting your product out there on the market. Don't sit back. Begin to get involved in the discussions that are happening elsewhere. Present yourself. People will look you out, then they will follow you and they will find your product. You will not have spent a lot of money, but you will keep drawing the market towards you. Find ways of drawing the market towards you. Don't sit and wait. Draw the market towards you. And as you do that, then you can have influencers also begin to help you and other people. But it's your baby. Be involved in branding it by taking active steps in discussions, in blogs. It's the digital world. There are many places you can leave your footprint. There are many places you can leave your footprint and begin to draw attention to yourself. And then people will begin to look for your product. And then you will begin to grow in the digital world and you'll begin to continue. The other thing is, very many people are still selling the same product that you want to sell or something similar. And so find a way of standing out. Find a way of standing out from the crowd. The easiest thing is to just go with the flow, but that's what everyone does. And you will have a lot of competition because that's where everyone is. But find a particular thing that very few people are doing and begin to amplify that, begin to blow that up. Don't be lazy and don't be proud. It's good to learn. So look at what others are doing and understand how you can distinguish yourself from them. Because if you don't know what others are doing, then you won't know how to distinguish and you will just do anything. But be humble, study what others are doing, and then begin to find ways of standing out from the crowd. People like new things. And so people will take notice of the new thing on the block. People will take notice of what is new, what is trending, what is current. It's the digital world, and that's what people are looking for. What is current, what's trending, what's different, what's special. And so when you study what others are doing, it will give you the opportunity to stand out, to find ways of being different, and then you will begin to draw traffic towards you because you are different and you are unique. So be humble, look at what others are doing, and find ways of standing out from them. Don't just go with the flow. It's easy to go with the flow, but going with the flow means you're competing with everyone else. But standing out means you are now creating a new market for yourself. You're creating new customers for yourself, new clients for yourself. And so, look at what others are doing and then find a way of of standing out. And then in addition to that, let your friends also begin to speak for you. We're talking about influencers, and someone mentioned it earlier. The people around you can be your influencers that actually you don't even have to pay. Your friends can begin to like your posts. If you post about something, your friends can begin to like your post. They can begin to increase the traffic on your page. They can begin to increase the traffic, and people want to go where the traffic is. And so as people begin to, your friends and people, customers, as they begin to increase the traffic on your page, then your page will gain more prominence, and even strangers will begin to draw themselves towards you. And then as you gain traction, then you can get into the place of paying influencers. You can get into the place, because you are a startup, you don't have a lot of money. You have to be wise with your money, but you can be the biggest person that pushes your company. Sometimes we want to sit back and let others do the work for us. And then we have to pay them and pay that person and pay this marketing organization and pay this. But the influencers that you are paying have 10 companies that they are trying to promote. And so they will not give you as much time as they want, because they have all other companies to promote. But you have enough time to promote your company. So be involved in promoting your company. Push it as much as far as you can. We're in a digital world and you can do this very well. And so just as I conclude, I just want to remind you, number one, brand yourself. People are not only looking at the product, they are also looking at you as an individual. Brand yourself. Number two, have values. Don't sacrifice your values for a quick profit. If you are in for the long run, have values that will build consistency and draw attention towards you. Number three, market yourself, market your company. Be involved in discussions online, in groups online. Let people begin to take notice of your company. Number four, find a way of standing out. Look at what everyone is doing and see how different you can be, because people are looking for what's new and what's trending. And as I conclude, dream big. Dream big. So your dream determines what your marketing strategy is. If your dream is only for the around the area where you are, then your branding will be, based on that. If your dream is to go beyond your city and beyond your country, then your branding begins to change. You realize, okay, I have to brand in a different way. And so don't dream small. Every big person began in a small way. Your company doesn't have to stay small. It can actually grow big. And so begin to dream big and begin to market yourself and brand yourself based on how big you want to grow. Based on have a big picture and begin to brand yourself toward that big picture. Don't limit yourself. Don't stay small. People are growing every day. There's no reason why you shouldn't grow. There's no reason why you should stay small. There's enough space for everyone. And so begin to dream big and market yourself based on that. And I know definitely we will meet 5 years from now, 10 years from now, with people who are in this class now running big companies and big organizations. It is all possible. Thank you so much. I like to be practical. And for me, these are practical steps that you can actually begin to apply immediately and grow. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph, for your insightful and amazing speech. Do we have any questions? Yes, Mr. Prashant, you can ask a question.
Hello, Mr. Joe. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So the first question is that, do you think referral marketing is good or going through the organic reach is good? If you are having very less amount of cash, then both the things, I don't think both the approach will work. If you are having limited amount of cash as a company owner, and if you are trying to go through by referral, then it is long time you will take to grow. And if you are going for organic marketing, then also it will take long time. So how do you deal or tackle with this type of problems if you are having very less amount of cash?
I think because we are in a fast-paced world, people want to grow very quickly. And things that grow quickly end up dying quickly. I think things that grow for a long time have been built over a long time. The current generation is a quick generation. Click and let something happen. Click a button, let something happen. But those things, I think, they are short term. If you are dreaming big, then you have to realize it will take time, and you have to take time, give time to something that grows big. Things that flourish quickly, sometimes they die very quickly. But things, if you're building long term, you have to realize there's a bit of patience involved. But I know what I'm building, and I know what I'm building is going to last. And so I will take my time and build slowly, but I will definitely get there. And so use whatever time you have to contribute to it. It might be a small step, but each small step counts. Each small step counts. Each small step counts. So take time to build something that will last forever. If you're building a flat, you don't build it in a day. But if you're building a small house, you can build that one in a day. If you're building a skyscraper, it takes time. But when that skyscraper is finished, you can see it from everywhere. And so take time and build. Don't be in a rush to build quickly because everyone is building quickly. Things that build quickly collapse quickly.
No, actually, I'm asking you just some remedy like that. It is not the binary system. If you want to make money is faster, then you're not able to grow. It is not like that binary system. I don't think it is like that binary system like that. If you want to earn money quickly, then I think there will be some mechanism will be there. It is not like that if you want to. No, you are saying if you want to grow faster, then you won't be like that skyscraper and all. So my question is that, is there any remedy? You can grow in very short duration and can grow like that. You can be very big or huge company.
If you want to grow, I think in the digital era, I think grow by putting yourself out there, like I said. Grow by looking for where action is and begin to contribute where action is and let people begin to notice that you are present and let people grow. Like I said, you have to put in the work. If you're willing to put in the work, then you will grow. And so look for where people are active. Begin to be active yourself. Draw attention towards you. Draw attention towards you. Don't sit back and wait for things to happen. Draw attention towards you.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Do we have any more questions? Mr. Sandeep, do you have any question?
Sandeep, right? No questions? You raised a hand 2 seconds back. Okay.
Yes, Ms. Suparna, if you want to add your views to the question, you can.
Hello and good evening. It's so nice to hear this debate which Joe had put up and Prashant was asking. I have been in the industry for some time and I'm also teaching today. So I have seen both sides of the end. What I feel today in the world of startups is that you need to have your purpose out there and purpose made loud and clear to your target audience. Right? And if the target audience can understand what is the sincerity of your story, and if you're vulnerable to the public, you come out and tell your stories, hey, I failed, or hey, I have done this good, right? Either way. Then the audience understands that here is a man, the founder or the team, which is ready to come out and tell that these are my progressive steps. So can I join him in my trip to growth? It's always a cohabiting space, if I'm not wrong, the startup world, because the founders are young as I see this young lady out here, 18-year-old, 19-year-olds are having their dreams. They're becoming founders with what? One single idea. But how do I increase that business? The incremental revenue will only happen when we start talking about ourselves, our ideas, our failures, our growth stories easily. Then you see how it starts compounding. This is my understanding, being in the market here for almost about 30 years now. So I just wanted to put in that. Be vulnerable, tell your stories, and see how you attract people. Even in traditional advertising, both ways, whether it is digital or whether it is traditional. It is human empathy, human greed to grow, right? So catch that cognitive part of the human psychology. And I think businesses are built on that. I'll be speaking on the same tomorrow, but I wanted to speak have a little of it today. Thank you, Joe, for that beautiful, beautiful insights that you gave up. Very nice. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much as well.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jose and Ms. Suparna, for your views. It will definitely help the budding entrepreneurs. Mr. Jose, please do share your email address in the chat box. If any of attendees would like to connect with him, please do reach out to him. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Sumit to commence his speech.
Hi guys, good evening. Thank you for having me here. So let's start with the why. So as Miss Kushwaha started with why startup of this. So same question I'll ask you all the guys. Why startup of this? Guys, can anybody tell me why startup of this? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Yeah.
Okay. Can anybody tell me why startup of this?
Sorry, what was the question?
Why startups are failed?
Why startups are failing? Okay.
Yes.
Consistency, I guess. Losing out on hope. Seeing the winter funding, right?
Okay.
And then there are enough amount of people trying to tell that ये नहीं होगा. लेकिन एक crazy इंसान चाहिए उस founder team में जो बोलेगा कि ये होगा. You know, so we give up so much on peer pressure, so much on the market pressure, so much on funding pressure. I think these three are one of the most. And secondly, consistency of the idea. You have to map your idea. The customer journey has to be mapped perfectly. Trial and error, keep correcting. If that is mapped, I think failures are there, but you can take a good, solid walk.
Yes, I agree. Any other thoughts? I would like to listen from any other people if they want to add something over here. Anybody?
Resistance, I suggest resistance because
okay, resistance. Okay. So I'll tell you. Yes, if anybody want to tell anything.
yeah, they have. Rajat and Narinder have texted something in the chat box.
Okay. More competitions, less recognition, less capital. Okay, I'll tell you this simple reason. Because startups are not able to find the customers. Okay, whatever the product or service you have, this is my thought. Okay, so whatever product or service you are selling, so you fail because you are not able to find the customer for that. Okay, so why this thing has happened now? Because so people have wanted to run the startup. They have the ideas, but what is the evidence for that? If you are running, that is actually needed in the market. Okay, you have to find out what is the evidence. So nowadays we can see that many organizations call they have a user-centered design approach in their organizations or their startups or their businesses. Even in a big brands, they say we have a design thinking. Okay, so what it's called, if we call them, so they think their product or service is very simple to use for the consumers. Okay, but you go to the consumers and ask them, is it easy? You find a disconnect between them, and this disconnect creating a huge mess. Okay, I'm not saying it's companies, organizations, startups, they are not doing the research. They are doing the research. But here is a gap. There is a bad. If anybody heard about user experience, here anybody heard about user experience? There are two kind of user experience. But there are the strategies. We can call this bad user experience and good user experience. Yes, maybe if you want to ask something, you can ask. Nidhi, you are in mute if you are asking.
No, Sumit, go ahead. I completely agree with what you are talking about. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So there is a good user experience and bad user experience. So company continuously doing the they are doing the research. Okay. I'm not saying they are not doing, but there is a glitch. They are doing the way or not, the there is not proper. So here I tell you the seven sins. Okay. So first sense is credulity. Okay. That we called in Hindi is bolapan. Okay. So I'll just tell you, if I ask you whatever the product or service you are selling, and you ask your customers, so do you like it or not? So do you prefer that? Whatever it is the right approach. Can you tell me? Customers are reliable to trust. Yes or no? It's just a simple answer. Your custom. If you ask your customer, what do you like? Okay, and then do you like this thing? Do you like my product? They give you the trustworthy answer. They give you the reliable answer. Yes. Okay. Anybody else? No. Good. I'll show you one image. Okay. You have to select one from that, and after that I'll tell you the next story. So you have to trust your customer or not. So we'll find it through the image. Okay. Uh, Entire screen confused. Okay. Yes. Guys, you can see my screen, right? Guys, I'm not able
Yes,
to
we
see
can.
you. Yes, okay.
Yeah,
So,
obviously.
okay. Guys, here are the four logos or icons we can say. Okay. Just tell me, or you can put in the comments, keep which one you preferred and why. Okay. Just give it few minutes and you'll decide which one you preferred and why. You can switch on your mic and tell me as well. No worries.
B most probably.
Sorry.
B most probably.
Most probably B. Okay.
Someone has
Okay.
said the green color on the leftmost side. That is
Okay.
C, I guess.
Okay. Okay. I'll come to the answer. I'll stop presenting my screen. So let me check B, 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 B. Okay. So whatever you guys are telling now, I'll just tell you. Here is a twist. Whatever image I showed you now, okay, these are identicals. Okay. All are same. This is only the single image. Okay. On whatever you have selected, this is not because of any particular reason. This is because of serial position effect. Okay. So if you want to read, you will get n number of studies on that. This is psychology. This is the mind trick. If you put things in that manner, this is only the serial position effect. So people are remember only. If you take uh, whatever you say, people are remembering the starting and ending only. Okay, between that they are not able to remember that things much. This has happened because of serial position effect. So I just tell you that's why your customer it's not a reliable witnesses. Okay, so you don't need to trust them. You if you ask your customers and you trust on them, this is not a good idea because they don't know what they need and why they need. This is you have to find that. Okay. So how we can overcome from this problem? My definition of successful user is a study is one that gives actionable and testable insights into the user needs. Okay. So what it mean by actionable and testable insights? So it simply means you go on a field visit. Okay. You have to go on a field. You have to observe. Okay. if you are not able to observe now, that is a very you have when you are starting observing the people, now you are learning more from them. Okay, I think everybody agree on that. So you have to go on field visit. You have to do the user interviews. You have to do the usability testing as well. So what is usability testing? So you don't need to just tell your users this is the options. So few days ago, I'm working with one client, and this so they have something difficulties in their organizations. So they are doing a usability testing. They invited me over there. I observe. I just go to the observation room and I just check. So the users are sit over there and they uh, take over. They just couple of designs they show to the user and just tell them whichever you prefer. Okay. So user has not because scissor position effect has also applied over that time. So user has just randomly selected the things. So that this is not a right way because if you're doing it that way, you'll not get the results. Okay. For that, so what is the right way to ask? So you have to predict. Just tell them predict what is your possible behavior for that particular action. Okay. You have to ask their possible behavior, and you will get their behavior. You have to observe their past actions, whatever they are doing. From that, you can observe their behaviors and you can conclude the story. So I'll not take longer because it's a huge topic. So I'll just tell you what are the 7 signs. Okay. Sometime we will discuss. I'll just tell you the right now one sin. There are the many sins. There are the 6 more sins, and they completely have a different story. But I'll tell you the conclusion. The startups or brands, they are not doing the proper research. They don't have a evidence for their ideas. They have a wonderful idea, but what is the proof that idea will work in the market? Okay, so what is the proof for that? So you have to collect. So we called it in a IDC as well, in IIT Bombay. They have a courses for that. In that as well, they just tell you continuously. You just need to focus on evidence-based startups. Whatever the idea you have, you just need a solid evidence for that. Okay, you have to go on a field business. So I just tell you, well, whenever you show when we call the research, people are go to the survey, people are go to the polls. Okay, so that is not a survey that you will not get a perfect insight from that. You have to go on a field visit and observe, and that is not only the things you need a both things. Okay, from surveys and polls, you can understand why what people are doing. Okay, and with the help of site visits and user interviews, you will understand why people are doing that thing. Okay, so you have to understand this basic things. So there are the things. I'll just tell you what are the 7 things. I'll share my screen. This is the 7 common sense. Matlab, you just find in organizations they are continuously doing, and that's why they are failed. I just not called failed. They are not able to reach their desired what they are desired for or desired output. First one is credibility. Second is dogmatism. Third is bias, obscurantism. Fourth one is obscurantism. After that, laziness. After that, vagueness, and after that, prejudice. So if we talk, I know. So we have a time limit. So I'll stop over here. Okay. If you want to know more or learn more about this, you guys can connect with me. Okay. I'll just tell you. I'll happy to tell you the complete story. So why this thing has happened in the organizations. Thank you, guys.
I would
Thank
like
you.
I would like to thank Mr. Sumit for the valuable insights you have shared with us today. Obviously, you have retrospected on the topic of discussion from a completely different perspective, but that is what makes it unique. I would like to also request you to kindly share your email address in the chat box if any of our attendees would like to connect with Mr. Sumit. or have any question, please reach out to him through his email. Now, proceeding further, I would like to request Ms. Nidhi Rajput to commence her speech and share her valuable insights.
Nidhi, you are on mute.
Sorry guys, it's really hot here, so please bear with me. First of all, a very good evening to each one of you, and thank you for inviting me here. And it's pleasure to share my insights on the topic, which is building trust and credibility through authentic digital branding. So we have heard the opinions, the insights by esteemed speakers already. I'm going to add my insight to it. So let's start by understanding what exactly is digital branding. Like we have been talking about it since so long. So let's have this quick, intro to it. What is digital branding? So digital branding is a process of creating and promoting your brand values, identity, and image through various digital channels. Okay. And you have to make sure that it aligns with your brand overall objectives and resonates with your target audience. Right. Now, in the fast-paced digital environment, which is defined by fierce competition and ever-evolving consumer expectations, startups are finding it increasingly difficult to win the trust of the audience and also to catch their attention. And because they don't have the long-standing reputation, neither they have the resources which large organizations have. So in this scenario, digital branding has emerged as a very important tool because they can use digital branding to create their online presence, and they can differentiate themselves from their competitors and foster trust and credibility. Through digital branding, they can directly connect with their target audience and create connection. They can engage with them and have a long lasting relationship, which would lead to success. Now, how would they use digital branding, to create trust? So using digital branding, then they can create the unique brand identity. They can define their core values. They can define what they stand for. They can actually tell the audience how they differ from their competitors. And using this compelling narrative and defining their mission, they would create an emotional bond with the target audience. Once you connect with somebody emotionally, you become a human. And it is all about human to human connection. As it is generally said in business, we do business with people whom we can trust. We do business with people who are humans. So humanizing your brand is very important, and digital branding helps you to do so, especially with startups who have no money. Create your digital presence and people will get to know about you. Now, herein authenticity is very important. That is the topic of today, and it is the currency in the digital world. Today, it is very important. How would you create authenticity? You have to be transparent with your people. As one of the speakers, I guess there was somebody from the audience who said, you have to be vulnerable with the audience, which is very true. If you are making a mistake, admit it, tell them, because you are human, you are humanizing your brand. So admit your mistake, okay, and share transparency, share your success story, share your failures, any impactful moment that you had throughout your journey. You can share all of it, and this is going to create trust. Through authenticity will come trust, and we all know that trust is very important in business. It is the trust which the startups have to create, because once you create trust, then nobody can stop you from succeeding in the market. It is all about trust. We do business with people whom we can trust, so create trust. Now the question comes, how are we going to build this trust? There are various ways. However, since we have a very limited time, I'm just going to talk about few of them. So first of all, you have to create a compelling narrative. Since it is digital branding, so the customers must know who you are, why you are, what you are. So you have to create your vision, mission, values, your unique brand, unique value proposition, how you differ from competitors. And you can share this story across all digital platforms so that there is a cohesive digital unity, right? And then once you have done this, you need to use storytelling, right? Because I said it is very important to humanize brands. So go out of just product description. Just product descriptions won't work. Create stories, because they will evoke emotions. And once you have evoked emotions, people, the customers, they will connect with you on emotional level, and you can actually establish relationship based on shared values, which is very important. Now storytelling is important, however your graphics also important, right? You look at the company's website and decide whether you should whether it's a trustworthy or not. So for building trust, you should have a visually appealing website, and it has to be user friendly, so that you ensure that your customers are able to navigate through the website easily. It loads quickly, right? And they are having a seamless experience. A study says that if website takes more than 3 seconds to load, 40% of users abandon it. So the ideal load speed is 1 to 2 seconds, so it has to load quickly. That is also important. Now you have to use content marketing, because it's a startup, we don't have a lot of money, we are not going to the paid we are not talking about the paid media channel. So let's talk about organic channels, which is content marketing. So create content which is valuable and which resonates with your target audience. Use social media. Now everybody's using social media, but here's a catch. There's something very interesting and important that I want to share with you, that when you use social media, ensure that you are engaging with the audience, which means you answer their comments and their DMs and the questions in a timely fashion. It is important to answer in a timely fashion, because then you create authenticity, and they know there is somebody who is listening to them, somebody who is going to answer the query. So the trust is built. And there is a survey which said that brands which do not respond to their audiences or customers on social media suffer a churn rate of 15%, which is a massive audience. Of course, you don't want to lose your audiences, right? Because if you lose them, they are going to go to your competitors. So you just don't have to bring customers, you have to retain them as well. So that is important. Customer retention is equally important. However, right now we are talking about creating trust, because trust established, then consistent trust established, then of course the customers are going to be with you. Then let's talk about user generated content, which is testimonials and reviews. You can go and ask your customers to share their experience with you, and then you can share the reviews and testimonials on your social media channels and on your website, and this will create a positive brand image. So and there's one more very important thing, that become customer centric. Just keep focus on who your customers are, okay, and do everything to exceed their expectations, right? It is very important. And then have a customer service team which is really prompt and which goes above and beyond in case something happens, and they assist the customers. So I'll give you a very good example here. Just day before yesterday, I ordered grocery from Swiggy Instamart, and I rely on Swiggy Instamart for my for grocery. However, I use Blinkit as well. What happened is that after I received my products, there were 2 products missing, which I realized after 2 days. Okay, and I was not sure whether they are going to acknowledge it, whether they are going to say yes to it. So I just tried my luck, and I wrote to customer service team, and within 5 minutes, rather less than 5 minutes, I got my refund for both the products. Now I'm a loyal brand ambassador. You talk to me, you ask me which is the brand I should refer to you, I will say go to Instamart. These people are reliable. So this is how you create brand advocacy. This is how you create loyal followers. So this is very important. Creating trust is important. Now so after all of this, you can do one more thing. You can create surveys, online digital surveys. It is free, anybody can do it, right? You don't have to invest on it, and ask your customers about your brand experience. So these are some of the ways how you can build trust through digital branding, right? However, since my expertise is content marketing, I would want to talk a bit about it. I'm sorry, we don't have a lot of time. I won't take a lot of time of yours. Just allow me just 3 more minutes of yours. Yeah, so thank you. So, as I said, what is content marketing? We understood what is digital branding. So it is very important for us to understand what is content marketing. So it is creating and distributing content which is valuable and engaging to attract and retain a target audience. Now, first of all, how would you use content marketing to build trust? Start creating valuable content. As one of the esteemed speakers said, that be there and create content, create value. So once you start creating content and providing value to the audience, they are going to trust you, right? And in the fast-paced digital environment, we know there are a lot of competitors, there's a lot of crowd, there's a lot of rush. So there's one thing which is very important is personalization. Personalize your content, especially when you are using email marketing. It is important that you address your audience through their names, because that creates an intimate relationship. So rather than saying dear customer, say dear, whatever it is, Rina or whatever. So, and you can also use your insights. Okay, there are insights, there are digital tools, you can use insights and offer them some customized solutions. So that would also help in building credibility. Now if you're talking about content marketing, we have to talk about SEO. So SEO plays a great role in driving ranking your site on top of the search engine. So use SEO. Then apart from that, storytelling I spoke about. Storytelling is very important to connect with the brands and evoke emotions, and then offer a unique perspective. How would you stand out in the market? There is massive crowd. So when you offer a unique perspective, you establish yourself as an authority, as a thought leadership in your niche, in your industry. So offer unique perspective. And then engagement is important. As I said that customers would leave you if you will not answer them, and there are so many companies, there are so many people who are vying, right? And you have to stand out in the crowd. So become a person, become a human who is always there to address even the grievances. I heard there was one question yesterday that should we answer to the negative comments? Yes, of course, because when you don't, then you actually make it clear that yes, you were at fault. So yeah, there are certain negative comments which we should overlook, but we should always try to address the grievances and try to figure out and fix them. So that is also very important. Yeah, so these are the various ways which we can use to build credibility and trust. We can use influencer marketing, as a lot of people have spoken about it, and choose influencers with whom your brand value aligns. Values are very important, and consistently when we are talking about values, this is what sells in the market, because when people will see that you're transparent, they will buy with you. Else you will lose your audience, because if you'll speak one thing one day, another thing next day. So yeah, credibility and trust has to be built there. You can use guest blogging, that will expand the reach of your brand and further improve your credibility. And yeah, so in content marketing, you have to be transparent, as we already discussed, and consistency is the key, right? You can't create content one day and you're not creating anything for the next 30 days. So you should have an editorial calendar in hand, and every company, whether a startup or a multinational, have their editorial calendar and an entire team to create content. And once the content is created, promote it through different digital channels so that it is out there. And finally, you have to analyze and measure the result to see whether the efforts are bearing any results. So these are the various ways which we can use content marketing to build trust with the audience, which would create long-standing relationship with the desired customers, the targeted audience, and this will bring us definite success. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your patience.
That was a great speech, Nidhi. I would firstly appreciate your speech, as it has enlightened us on multiple such perspectives that they didn't cover till date in this conference. Please do share your email ID in the chat box so that if our attendees have any questions, you can straight away reach out. As we come to the close of today's session of this remarkable conference, I would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you. The knowledge shared, the insights gained, and the connections made have all contributed to the success of this event. We are truly grateful for your participation. We have the privilege of hearing from a diverse group of speakers who have enlightened us with their expertise as panelists, debating speeches. Moreover, we would also like to acknowledge our incredible attendees. Your enthusiasm, curiosity, and active engagement has contributed a lot to building this dynamic atmosphere throughout this conference. Now, we would like to invite all the attendees to participate in a regular voting process. Please do take a moment to type the name of your favorite guest speaker for today in the chat box. The top three speakers of Conference 2.3 shall be declared after the end of the third session. First, I believe I can expect at least 20 votes today. Faster, just type out the name of your favorite guest speaker in the chat box, and that's it. Faster, faster, faster. And as usual, a disclaimer, this voting process is not for creating a competition, but rather to encourage engagement in the conference discussions in an upcoming sessions. Thank you, but only two votes. I think we are 20 attendees. All will also go in the group. And please do ensure that. Yeah. Now moving ahead, why as we wrap up today's session, we would like to kindly request all our attendees and guest speakers to take a moment to provide your valuable feedback and reviews on our Google business listing. Anjali, if you could just share the link in the chat box. Yeah, your inputs and thoughts are highly appreciated as they will help us improve future events and continue delivering high quality conferences. So, in case you have any feedback for this session of Conference 2.3, you can just put it out in our Google reviews, and our research team would take care to go through it and advise us on how to improve our conferences, provide you with a better user experience. Thank you all for your participation today and for being an integral part of this remarkable conference. We'll look forward to your reviews on our Google listing and also hope to see you all at Conference 2.3's last session tomorrow.